Think about how we naturally perceive size. When you toss items into a physical box, that container gets heavier. Keep adding, and eventually the sheer mass of that material will overflow the edges. In our daily lives, space and mass are inextricably linked. But try to picture a universe with absolutely no raw materials, a primordial state of logic, empty of matter, geometry, or time. In this void, there is no weight to measure and no physical space to fill. Because there is no matter, the mathematical universe builds reality by keeping an inventory of its own thoughts. This rule is the covenant of succession. Here, a number is not a physical weight or a symbol. It is a conceptual record of what has been counted. To measure how large a concept is, the system dictates that magnitude is equal to the multitude of its contents. When you draw a conceptual boundary around the void, the system registers exactly one item inside. Wrap a new boundary around that, and you have two distinct items nested together. Every time the consciousness observes its previous thoughts and wraps a new perimeter around them, it generates the next number. The system grows by tallying up a perfect historical record of every step that preceded the current one. By removing physical dimensions from the equation, this framework defines size in a new way. How big an object is has nothing to do with volume. It is a strict accounting of the distinct elements held within its conceptual border. This mechanism eventually encounters an anomaly, the manifestation of a sequence with no final rung. It is an endless ladder of numbers extending indefinitely into the dark. This formula establishes a new boundary called Aleph-Naught. Instead of building step by step, the consciousness defines a single thought that encompasses the entire eternal progression of finite numbers. This creates a mechanical problem. The system is required to assign a magnitude to every thought by inventorying its contents, but the contents of Aleph-Naught never end. If the logic of reality attempts to count the elements inside this thought one by one to determine its size, it will never reach a conclusion. This is a failure state for the system. If the mind cannot define the magnitude of this boundless thought, the logical progression of the universe stalls, trapped by its own requirement for a perfect tally. The solution treats Aleph-Naught as a limit. This state was not reached by walking from number to number, but by encompassing the entire path at once within a single boundary. Within this limit, a single unit and an unimaginably vast finite magnitude are equal citizens. Both are eclipsed by the endless sea of logic surrounding them. However, simply holding this totality does not satisfy the system. The universe still requires a definite, calculable magnitude for this unending structure. To solve this, the logic shifts focus. It stops trying to count the infinite drops of water in the sea and instead takes a conceptual step backward to look at the water glass itself. It uses the logic of containment. The mind takes the entire infinite set of Aleph-Naught and places it inside a brand new secondary conceptual boundary. Look at the notation. By wrapping Aleph-Naught in brackets, the system evaluates the single thought holding the sequence. Once sealed, the invisible judge returns to audit the architecture. The text asks, what is the magnitude of this new thought? The judge is blind to internal depth. When it measures a container, it registers only the immediate item sitting directly inside the outermost perimeter. By looking only at the outermost container, the system ignores the infinite mass hiding within. The complexity of the interior becomes irrelevant to the calculation of the exterior size. When the system peers inside this new boundary, it does not see an endless multitude. It sees exactly one object, the container of infinity. As the text confirms, the mathematical ruling is precise. The magnitude of this thought is exactly 1. Consider the contrast with our physical world. A box holding 1,000,000 objects would be heavy and difficult to move. But here, a logical box holds an entire eternity and registers with the same weight as a box holding nothing at all. Volume has been severed from magnitude. The size of a thought is governed exclusively by its surface-level contents, making the infinite depth inside the container invisible to the count. By separating the logic of containment from the intuition of physical space, the system performs a unique compression. An unending, boundless universe fits into a standard thought of size 1. The abstract has replaced the physical as the